What is up, beautiful people? Welcome once again to Clothing. Welcome to another wonderful tutorial. In today's tutorial, we're going to learn how to make this beautiful Milkmaid top. So this top has different features that I really love, and I highlighted them in this tutorial. The first one is creating the drawstring channel at the top there, um, adding that fullness along the underbust area, the zipper at the back, the pleats at the bottom of the blouse, the elastic channel along the sleeve area. Everything is just giving you giving you so much in one video. So if this is something you're interested in and you'd love to replicate, please do keep on watching, and let's dive right into this video. We're going to be starting off with about 2 yards of Ankara fabric. You may not even need up to that. And then we are going to be drafting this pattern from the scratch. So first thing I want us to notice that this is an off shoulder bodice. That means that our measuring tape we're going to be placing it such that we're cutting off about 4 inches from the actual measurement. So that's why I have that 4 inches extended above. I'm going to mark my chest line. I'm using 7 inches for my chest line there. The next line I'm going to put is my bust line. I'm going to be using 9 inches for my bust line. I'm also going to mark my under bust line. I'm using 14 inches, and I'm going to mark my half length 16 inches there. Then finally the hem. The hem is about 18 inches that we're going to be using there. Okay, so once we have these lines marked out, we are just going to take our ruler and square out all of these lines. So just draw the horizontal lines to the other side of the paper. The next thing I'm going to do is go right ahead to label the lines so that we know what each line stands for. Chest at the top, bust line, under bust line, waist line, and finally the hemline. So once we've done all of this, we're going to start putting in our measurements. On the chest line, you're going to take your chest width measurements. That's from one armhole to the other. We're working with a chest width of 15 inches. And then we're going to divide that measurement by 2 and mark it there, which is going to be 7.5. On the bust line, we're working with a bust of 38 inches. We're going to be dividing that measurement by 4 and then mark it there, which is 9.5 in this case. We go to the underbust line. We're working with an underbust of 34 inches. We'll divide that measurement by 4 and then we're having 8.5 there. On the waistline, the waist we're working with is 36 inches divided by 4 and then we'll be having 9 inches right there. On the hem, you can decide to put the same 9 inches you have on the waistline or just add half an inch to it that way. So once you have these lines, we're going to use our ruler to connect the points together this way. Next is to draw your armhole. You're going to draw a short vertical line from the top of the paper to the chest line, after which you place your pattern master or your armhole curve, and then finally draw the armhole curve this way. So this pattern, I'm going to be using it for both the front and the back. So we will go ahead now to work on that under bust area. So on the under bust line, we're going to draw a curve that starts from the center front and goes into the armhole. The next thing you're going to do is get your measuring tape, and then you're going to be measuring 1 inch above the under bust line. Once you mark that point there, you're going to then use your curve or freehand it. Just draw your curve this way and let it just stop at that armhole point itself. Okay. We are then going to put a sewing allowance of 1 inch on the side of the pattern and draw it out. This way your pattern already has the sewing allowance when you be cutting on your fabric. So let's cut this out right now.
Comparing to everyone, not her, but kinda wish I was. I'm torn between my dignity and giving more to see, and I'm not the only one. And I hate to pass that to even one. So I contradict myself. Oh, won't you please forgive me? 'Cause I'll be next in line to lie and show you life. The songs are misdirect until it sells and gives you likes. So step back in line.
Alright, now we're going to get our fabric and fold into two. We're going to cut the back pattern first of all. Place that pattern on your fabric that's been folded into two, pin it down, create space for your zipper allowance. I used 1 inch for my zipper allowance, and just cut around the perimeter of the pattern. You will definitely need to put a dart at the back. Because I'm using the same pattern for both front and back, I just made a straight dart by the time I was done, like through the middle there. Okay, that was something I did while I was fitting the garment. So I'll get the pattern now and cut the cup area, the part that will be pleated out. The lower part of the front, this one, we just go ahead to cut it out on the fabric. So I'm going to be putting my sewing allowance along that under bust curve there. 1/2 inch is what I'm using. So we'll work on this area now. For this area, I'll just draw multiple lines that we can cut through and that we can spread on another paper.
No more left to see. So now step back and lie. So now step back and lie. There's no more left to see. While it's all on the table, I'm not real. I lead the life you want from me, and I show it to you. Not different from anyone, not better, but I wish I was. Just give me the lines you need to read, and I'll say them from everything I've seen. There's no more mystery. All there is seeing, and there's no more left to see. There's no more left to see.
Okay, so this is what we have after slashing and spreading. Let me tell you how wide I spread them. Mm, 3.5 inches. This one is 4.5. Let me see here. So it's safe to say that they are 3.5 inches apart, each of the spread, because this one is small. By the time I move this, it's giving me 3.5 inches. Okay, so I added 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. That's how much I have. And then I put 1/2 inch here because we're going to cut two pieces of this. One for the left side of the front, one for the right side of the front. There's going to be a stitch line up onto just about your bust area, and this place will be open. You're going to put a drawstring channel here, right? And then here there'll be an opening like a peekaboo effect there. So we're cutting two pieces of the front, and we'll prepare the pleats that will go at the hem when we are done. So that's just it too.
So I contradict myself, oh won't you please forgive me, 'cause I'll be next in line to fly and show you life. The song's a misdirection to us and gives you life. So now step back in line. So now step back in line.
Okay, so for the sleeve, I'm going to cut two rectangular pieces, 30 inches wide, 12 inches long. Remember, because it's going to be off shoulder, so it's perfect. Now we're just going to go ahead now to the sewing machine. We're going to start sewing up the patterns we have there already. So let's go. All right, so the back is ready. The only thing for the back was to install the zip and finish up this up area here. This is what it's looking like here. So before we go on, I'm going to use the back to shape that my sleeve, the armhole. So after placing it this way, the next thing is to take your back pieces and you're going to align all the open edges. So the side seam should align to this place, these open edges here. And then at the top, I'll drop it by 1.5 inch because of my elastic casing there. So about 1.5 to 1 inch. So side seams are aligning, the zipper is facing the folded parts, and the back, the top is dropped from what it is here. So this area is what I'm going to shape and just cut it out. So that's how you shape the armhole of the sleeve area. The sleeve is prepared, the back is ready. Let's go to working on the front. For the front, we have this here. I'll remove the pattern. When I open it, this is what I have here. Remember, you're cutting on fold, and if you're not cutting on fold, you stitch here. That's what I did. The next thing is to take your pattern, the part that you slashed and spread, this one. Take the two slashed and spread pieces and sew your sewing allowance there. So I'm not going to start from the very top. I'm going to, from the part I notched, which is on my bust line here, that's where I'll start sewing from. So I'll just sew here and leave this place open up. Okay, so let's sew.
So now step back in line.
So I'll open it up and then I'll just sew it this way to stay put.
There's no more left to see. So now step back in line. So now step back in line.
We also need to make the channel here. So I folded half inch first, then 1 inch.
All there is sea, and then there's no more left to see. 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 Comparing to everyone, not her, but kinda wish I was. I'm torn between my dignity and giving more to see, and I'm not the only one. And I hate to pass that to even one, so I contradict myself. Oh, won't you please forgive me? Cause I'll be next in line to lie and show you life. The songs of misdirection to whistles and gives you likes. So now step back in line. So now step back in line. So now step back in line.
So I will now run another stitch here on top here. Okay.
There's no more left to see. So now step back in line. So now step back in line. There's no more left to see.
So after creating the drawstring channel, the next thing we're going to do is get our this one, the front, this one, and then we're going to sew this in place. This part here will be matched to this place, and then let's make sure you match everything up. This middle line here should match here, the middle. So we'll just go right ahead to sew up the gathered part to the lower part of the front.
While it's all on the table, I'm not real. I lead the life you want from me, and I show it too. Not different from anyone, not better, but I wish I was. Just give me the lines you need to read, and I'll say them.
The next thing I'm going to do is prepare the drawstring. That's the rope that will be going into this upper area, this part here and here, so that we can tie it. So I went ahead to cut out a rectangular strip of about 25 inches long and 1.5 inches wide. Now placing it right sides facing right sides, you want to sew up that open part of the side seam this way, like you see me do here. Close one end of the rope, and then I'm going to be using a needle and thread to turn this inside out. I'll first knot the thread, take my needle and secure it at one end, create a hole in the rope this way, and then just pass the bottom of the needle, not the pointy part too. The end of the needle is what I'm going to be passing through the rope to the other side. Once it comes out the other side, I'll start pulling the rope through. It may take a while, but just be patient so that the rope will not cut, so that the thread will not cut. So once you're able to pull it, just start taking your time, pulling and tagging till the other end of the rope that we're trying to make, the strap, comes out. So once it comes out this way, we're going to use the safety pin and secure the end. From the middle part where the pickable effect is, pass your string through. So the raw edge, the part that was unfinished, the open edge, will be the edge that will go towards the armhole side, while the finished part of the string will be the one that will be on the center front. So secure the one that goes to the armhole so that it doesn't come out anymore. Okay. So do the same thing for the other side of the front. Once you're done with that, get your back and sew the side seams closed like so. Do this for both the left and the right side of the blouse. Great. So you can now check to see, snip off any loose threads. We need to pass the elastic to this upper part of the sleeve. Just pass the elastic into the channel. Secure the elastic on this end. Very good. So after securing it at the top there, I'm now going to put an elastic along the middle. So I'll just notch the two parts here. I'll get my elastic and then I'll start stretching it from one end to the other. So now we'll do our French seams. Our two sleeves are ready to be installed to the blouse. We'll just go right ahead to start installing the sleeve, matching up the side seam to side seam. We'll start sewing the sleeve to the bodice. Then we install the second sleeve as well. All right, so at this point, you want to fit to see how it came along. You want to fit to see if there's any part that is a bit loose, um you work on it. But so far so good. Once you took the actual measurement, everything will come out perfect. So at the bottom, I can decide to hem it or increase the length by just putting a bit of maybe peplum, like pleat or flare, like I decided to do initially. But if this cropped blouse is your thing, then you just stop here. This is what you have. Yeah, let me know if this video was helpful, if it was easy and straight to the point for you to understand. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to read from you. Please do not forget to subscribe and give me a huge thumbs up if you found value on here. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Till we see you in our next tutorial. Stay safe. God bless you all. Bye.